All right, we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Rebel TV. Today is Freedom Friday on Rebel TV, where you get a little bit more of an insight into the Rebels and what it is that we do. So we're very, very excited and happy to have you here. And today on our episode, we're doing actually a special episode where we're going to get to hear a little bit more about two of our Rebel marketers. So we have Francine and Sarah here on the line, and I'm really excited because we're going to hear a little bit more about their story and kind of how they ended up here. So hello, ladies.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. So it's kind of fun. I always say it's fun to be on with you guys because we're in the same time zone. So for us, it's evening. So I get a little less confused saying, this evening instead of where in the States it's still afternoon. But first, I'd love to, and you guys can kind of take this whichever direction you want, but I'd really love to hear about, what was life like for you a couple of years ago before making the decision to become the .com moms? Like, what was going on for you guys?
Do you want to start?
Yeah, I can do.
Throw you in at the deep end.
Well, so a couple of years ago, our daughter wasn't even here, and we'd not long got married, had we?
Yeah.
And well, our daughter was on the way, and pretty much before you was working a job full time. I was working part time, and Sarah just was in a job that she really didn't like and didn't really want to be doing for too much longer. I don't know whether you want to talk a little bit more about your experience at work. Or...
Yeah, at that point it was more about keeping my sanity, trying to find something different that was going to help me keep my sanity. I was in a position with a company. I was being heavily bullied at work. It drove me into a severe depression. And it was just, we stumbled across your blog, and we started doing some research, and we decided that this was the way it's going to help us change our life, and that's what we're still working towards now.
So when you found that blog, you were Sarah, you were working full time. Francine, you were working part time, and what was that? What was life like for you? Were you guys what was kind of like what was it that you want to change? I mean, I know you were in a job that was really unhappy, but what was kind of happening that kind of really drove that change for you both?
For you, it was more of a purpose, wasn't it? You felt that you didn't really have much purpose.
Yeah, for me, since my mid-20s, since I finished my university studies, because literally as I finished my studies, I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue, so I was living with my mum at the time, dependent on her, and then we were together, and I moved in with Sarah, but I've never, even sort of as a student, you're not really financially independent, are you?
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously I was financially dependent on my mum when I was sick, and then although we're together as a couple, there was still that feeling of dependency on Sarah, and so, I never really felt like I had that sense of independency, and for me it was about purpose as well. Before I had my daughter, because I'd gone through a lot with being sick, I kind of felt like I had no purpose in life, although I've had a really good education, and obviously becoming a mum is probably the biggest purpose in life.
Yeah.
Well, for me anyway, but still, it surprised me that there was still something more that I wanted to be doing, and so that's really been the catalyst for me. I want to be an example for my daughter of things that she can do and things that she can achieve, rather than just being able to, you know, tell her that she can have anything that she wants. I want to be that example of it for her. Sorry, I think I've just totally gone off. I forgot what the question was.
I think that makes so much sense, because, you know, the things that drive us, you know, in a lot of ways, for a lot of people, I think they experience that where, you know, you had a huge combination of everything. You know, Sarah, on the one hand, was having, you know, in a work experience, you know, in a job environment and experience where people were bullying her. You know, that's, I mean, talk about like needing to get out of a job. You know, it's not just, oh, I hate my job. It's, oh, my job is actually, you know, causing problems for me. And then, you know, on the other hand, you also have that wanting to have a bigger purpose. I think that actually combined, you guys probably encompass a ton of the motivations that most people would have. You know, I think a lot of people, you know, are trying to get out of a job or seeking a larger purpose. So you guys actually had both. So then I'm curious, who first kind of was thinking about a home business, or how did it come about that you guys decided to look at that?
That was me, actually. You know, I'm not too proud to admit that the stress and everything that Sarah was going through, and, you know, as becoming, you know, new parents for the first time, but, you know, placed a huge stress on our relationship. And you know, I just got to the point where it felt like everything was a struggle. Life was just such a struggle. And, you know, a lot of that was to do with my upbringing and the attitudes and things that I'd heard from people around me. But I've always known inside that there is a better way. There's got to be a better way, and that, you know, life doesn't need to be a struggle. And so it was for me, obviously being a mum, I'd made the decision that I wanted to be a full-time mum. So I didn't want anybody else helping me to look after my daughter, obviously, other than Sarah and family. But at the same time, I wanted to kind of have that sense of being independent, and also being able to contribute to, you know, to our financial needs. So it was me, really, because I needed, you know, I needed to find something that was going to fit in around, obviously, taking care of my daughter all day.
And for me, I'm known to be very cynical. I'm not one of these people that will just jump in. I'll take a step back. I'll analyse everything. I'll structure everything. It's just how I am. And I will admit it, because I know there's probably a lot of people out there that are probably thinking the same thing. Oh, does it work? Is it going to work? Can it work? Because I was thinking the exact same thing. And it was only through, obviously, reading your blog, Niamh, and through Francine's sheer determination that we decided to hell with it. What have we got to lose?
Yeah. I think that's really incredible, and it's wonderful to be able to say that to you, Sarah, because I think that's something that comes from, as you said, a lot of people find themselves in that situation of, you know, should I make a decision because I'm not sure if it'll turn out or not. But, you know, like every decision we make in life, we're not sure if it will turn out or not. You know, we're not sure. I think that the only thing we can be certain of is, like, going into parenting, that we can be fairly certain we'll love our children, and beyond that we don't know how it's going to be, we don't know how it's going to pan out. And with a business as well, we don't know whether you know, whether this is like the ideal perfect thing, but it's like you don't know whether any decision you make is the ideal perfect thing, and sometimes you just have to do it and you have to go for it. So then, Sarah, I'm curious, what was it for you that finally allowed you to say, okay, yeah, let's go for it? Was there a factor about the business, or about the Rebels in particular, or was it more just really wanting to support Francine?
It was a combination of all. But the one thing that sealed it for me was, I'm going to sound like I'm sucking up to you now, but it was really your blog. It was everything about the Rebels, that as a team, that it just stood out. I mean, we looked at other teams, we looked at other areas within Empower Network, but it was the Rebels that just stuck out for us. It had that community. It was just the team itself. It just sealed it. Obviously, there was things externally that were happening at work. Things were getting worse, and we did get to a point where it was rock bottom. We thought that was it. You know, what have we got to lose?
Time to just move upward from there. But you know, sometimes you have to hit that. You have to hit that point where everything is miserable, so you can just go for something. But I love you say that about the Rebels, because that to me as well is it's a huge drive in I think everything that a lot of the Rebels do is the team and community spirit, and you feel like you're there with other people. And one of my favorite things, you know, is starting to do Rebel TV is, you know, being able to meet other people and like, you know, I mean, we're not literally meeting, but it feels like meeting, you know, after having, you know, online relationships. It's so incredible to come on to something like this. So okay, so then you decided to join, and then from there I'm wondering, what's the dream? Like, what would you guys ideally like to create? How old is your daughter? You know, she's only a couple of years old, isn't she? Or
Yeah,
27 months.
yeah.
oh wow, yeah. So then what kind of life do you want to create together? What would be like the dream life in a couple of years' time?
It would be us all just being happy. I mean, we are happy as a family, but you've always still got that little bit of financial stress in the back of your mind, and we would like to get free of that financial struggle, although it is less than what it was. I think it's just being free to make decisions, and to show our daughter how different life can actually be. You know, if we want to just get up in the car and take her to the beach one day, we can do that and not have to think about, oh, I've got to take time off work and things like that. And for me, that's what it is. It's just having that freedom of doing what we want when we want, and giving our daughter the best life possible, and showing her that it is just about having that belief. And once you believe it, it's just down to you to make it happen. I don't know about you. What's your dream?
Yeah, it is the same thing. I mean, for me, like I've said before, it's about, you know, it's about something for me. It's about me having the purpose, but it's also, you know, a lot of the motivation for this is our daughter, you know, and providing her with the life that, you know, I could only dream for her. Giving her the experiences that, you know, most people wouldn't necessarily be able to provide for their children.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I mean, it's especially, you know, when your children are young, it's a time when you're really like thinking about like the future and what you want to show them and what you want to create for them, and it's kind of like a magical time as well. And it can be so stressful, but at the same time, you're kind of planning out the rest of your life. And I love as well what you said, Sarah, about, you know, just the freedom to do what you want when you want to do it. And I think that's something that that kind of deep down everybody wants. That's like the magic thing. It's like they all have different like individual things they'd like to do. You know, like you were saying, like pack up and go to the beach one day just because we can. You know, so maybe other people don't love the beach, but they would love to like go to the cinema when they can. Or see, I immediately switched over to Britishisms instead of Americanisms because sometimes yeah, but you know, people want to do different things. Like we always talk about that in the Rebels, that everyone's dream is different. But I think fundamentally, what everybody wants is kind of two parts. You know, one is they want that freedom that they can decide what they want to do as they want to do it, and then also on the other hand, you know, doing something bigger than themselves. So there's some kind of deeper purpose, and it sounds like for you guys a huge part of the deeper purpose is is what you can teach your daughter and how she can kind of grow up in the world. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely.
I think, and along outside of our family as well, the dot-com mums, it was about the two of us, but it was also about encouraging other mums, whether single parents or single mums, to do the same thing, and do the same as what we've done, and show people that you don't have to pass your children off to a childminder for 40 hours a week, and you can work from home, earn just about as much or even more, and still enjoy that time with your family at the same time.
Well, that was going to be my other question: is what's the vision of the dot-com mums? But it sounds like you've kind of nailed it there. Well, then I do have one. Well, then I do have one other question, which is, what's been the most surprising thing that's happened along your journey from joining the Rebels, deciding to become the dot-com mums, doing it together? Because honestly, doing stuff as a couple comes with challenges that people who decide to do a business on their own don't even know that you face as you kind of discover stuff about each other, and sometimes your dreams don't always line up perfect. It's exciting, but it's an adventure in itself. So what's been the most surprising thing that's happened for you guys?
The great thing about us working together is, I just had to take a part out of what you just said, is you'll notice that I'm not really at the front of the dot-com moms. It is more Francine. I'm the tech person. I'm the designer. I do all the technical stuff from the back side of things, and then Francine's more of the front person, really driving and being the face of it. So we work well that way, apart from when she's constantly screaming at me, Sarah, how do I do this? How do I do that bit again?
Yeah. What about for you, Francine? What's been the most surprising part for you?
I don't know. I don't know, actually. I think... I don't know.
I think you were over surprised more about the community. I think we expected the community side of things to be good and be really involved, but I think getting more into it, you found.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely find that the community. I mean, it's not just when you talk about joining a team or being part of a team. It's the community that we have within the Rebels is so much more than that, and it's
more of a family.
Yeah, it does feel like that. It feels like a family, and it feels like a movement, and it's just a place where, well, I certainly feel like if I have any problems or I'm really just feeling really stuck, I can just go there and just have support. You may not necessarily know who you're going to get the support from, but you know that there will be somebody there, and that's actually I would say that is the most surprising thing for me.
I read her mind and your mind.
Well, that's the surprising thing. It turns out that Sarah's a mind reader.
That's it.
I love it. I think that's really true. I mean, it's something that it's funny because as marketers and as advertisers, we do try and share. Look, we actually genuinely have a community and a team, but I think out in internet land, that word the word team doesn't always hold a lot of weight for people because maybe they've been in a team before, or maybe they kind of see a team as just being somewhere that like someone that you can ask questions of, but yeah, there's that sense of actual togetherness, which I think is just so special, and it's something that we all create together. we're going to get really cheesy here now, but I think you're absolutely right, and that's awesome. So I want to take a moment, because it's Freedom Friday, to welcome our new members and share some of the wins of the team. So just to cut in to our conversation for a minute, I have, let me see. Okay, so we wanted to welcome the new members. So those of you who joined the Rebels in the last week, we are so happy to have you here. You guys are some of the most important people watching this. So I want to welcome Michelle, Richard, David, Jennifer, and Monique. Those are all the names that people sent to me. So congratulations to you guys and welcome. And I also wanted to congratulate people on their wins. Kelly finally hit her 1,000th Twitter follower, which I think she hit a day or two ahead of schedule. Kimberly, who we welcomed last week, has been creating a whole ton of videos, doing awesome with that. Chris got her first email opt-in, just a couple days after getting all her stuff all set up and ready to rock. Donnie managed to hit the first page of Google with one of his blogs or videos. I can't remember which, but he hit the first page of Google for a really competitive keyword. So that was really, really exciting to see. I think there was something else, but I didn't memorize it, so it's not going to be shared. But there's always so many wins. I mean, there's so much stuff happening all the time. So it's been a very exciting week for the Rebels. So I have one more question for you guys before we wrap things up. I mean, it's so incredible to, I've kind of gotten to know you both along the way. I mean, mostly via Facebook and kind of chatting back and forth. But it's really incredible to hear your story of, that struggle, the wanting to have a purpose, but also that, as you said, Sarah, that little bit of cynicism, I think, that comes in for a lot of us as we're making new decisions and as we're kind of deciding what way we're going to go. So I'd like to hear from each of you if you had just one piece of advice to share with someone who's out there who's, maybe they're looking at the Rebels, or maybe they're looking at any change in life and they're not quite sure how to move forward. What kind of advice would you share with them?
Wow.
Oh, you couldn't have sent us that in a message beforehand.
This is a surprise question at the end.
For me, being the cynical one, I would say just ask yourself, what have you got to lose? And if the answer's not a lot, then just give it a go. If you're looking at Empower Network anyway, then, we've just got to put every single bit of our confidence in the Rebels. The Rebels is the team to be in, and if you're going to choose one, come and choose us.
That's awesome.
Have I just topped it?
I think for me it's to just believe in your dreams, believe in your dreams enough such that you can make them become a reality. Because for me, despite all the struggles and the times that I've ever wanted to give up, and there have been a lot in my life, there's just something within me that can't give up. I can't give up on my dreams, and that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm not giving up, because I'm fighting for my dreams, and I know that I can make them a reality.
I think you guys shared so much stuff that will hit home for so many people. And in particular, it's when you're facing a decision, you've got kind of this, two parts to it. There's what you want, which is what you're talking about, Francine, is the dream. And there's, the what's holding you back, which is, you were saying, Sarah, is that kind of, oh, well, maybe I have something to lose. And truthfully, there's very little in life that happens when you hold yourself back because you're afraid you're going to lose something, or you're afraid you're going to not be as amazing, or you're not going to be able to achieve your dream, so you're not even going to go for it. I think that's something that people fall back on that stops them from really living. And one thing that's been really amazing to me is that with every single goal that we've worked on and gotten to, the achieving of the goal itself is never anywhere near as exciting and thrilling as just being on the journey. I think that's the kind of secret underneath a lot of this stuff people don't even realize is how much fun it is, like how much excitement, how much life there is when you have something that you're moving towards and you're moving towards it. When you have something you want and you just go for it. Whereas when you get to it, it's like, yeah, that's great, and you've achieved something, but it's nowhere near as powerful and as passionate as when you're just on that journey. So we'd like to invite you, if you're watching, to take that first step on that journey and click the button below to join the Rebels. A Rebel invited you here because they love you. So when you click that button and join us, you'll become a part of the Rebels. So thank you so much, Francine and Sarah. It's been so much fun to meet you guys and to hear more about the journey of the .com moms. And I think we're going to see big things from you guys to come.
Let's hope so.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody.
If I don't kill him for constantly asking me questions first.
All right. So bye, everybody.
Bye.
Stopping.